Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining our panel on the operational challenges on the procurement process of network disaggregation. I'm Kelly LeBlanc, the Chief Marketing and Product Officer of IP Infusion. IP Infusion is a networking software company. We've been in business for 25 years, providing open networking solutions and helping customers transition to network disaggregation. So what I'd like to do is have our panelists introduce ourselves. We have 4 very special panelists today. We've all been working together in the ecosystem to make this happen, so let's start with Alan.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alan Fagan. I'm the Vice President of Sales for the Americas for EPS Global. I'm based in Boston, Massachusetts, but I actually grew up about a 20-minute walk from where we're sitting right now. EPS Global is a value-added distributor, and we specialize in open networking solutions. So we work with the best in breed of software providers, hardware manufacturers, to put together solutions for our customers. We're headquartered in Dublin, and we have 28 global locations.
Thank you, Alan. And Sanjay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sanjay Kumar. I'm the Vice President for Product Management and Marketing at Arcus. We provide a programmable network operating system that can run on any kind of hardware, multiple form factors. We enable use cases all the way from the edge to the core and into multi-cloud environments as well. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Sanjay. Edgar.
Thanks, Kelly. So good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be on this panel together with you. And my name is Edgar. I'm handling business development activities at EdgeCore Networks. I am based in Germany. And at EdgeCore, we are the pioneer of open networking solution. We deliver disaggregated solution end-to-end from access to the core. As well, we deliver solution to data center and for AI. Thank you.
Thank you, Edgar. And Lloyd.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly. It's a pleasure to participate in this panel this morning. My name is Lloyd Mphahlele. I'm the General Manager responsible for transport and OSS tools in MTN Group. MTN is headquartered in South Africa. Operates, it's a Pan-African entity operating mainly in Africa and a little bit of in the Middle East. So we're providing mobile, fixed. We've got some platforms that we running as well. Those kind of services across all of this market, including things like mobile money, etc. We have just over 280 million subscribers across that footprint. So yeah, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to a lively discussion. And I think we should start off with, let's just go around and talk a little bit about each of our journeys with network disaggregation. I think there are challenges that we've been learning along the way from our various perspectives, whether building solutions or consuming solutions. So in fact, let's start with Edgar. And what's your view?
So thank you, Kelly, for facilitating this discussion. Actually, it's a great and very important topic to highlight the main challenges in disaggregated solution. And I hope by the end of this session, we will be able to share our experience and how we were able to facilitate this deployment and how we were able to offer a great experience to all our partners and customers. So to begin, I would like to share some feedback from our customers who were sharing some concerns about considering disaggregated solution in their network. So the first thing was they were dealing with multiple key players in this ecosystem. There is too many decisions to be to take care, and this will be showing some of the challenges in terms how to deploy the technology and showing the solution maybe might little bit complex. What we've been doing together with STIP and the ecosystem, we've been validating the technology from the engineering perspective, the technology being proved and accepted. But we've been always need to take into consideration that organization is built with multiple business units, and we need to consider commercial and legal. And as well, those units were showing some challenges by dealing with every single vendor in this ecosystem. And sometimes they had to draft contracts based on each or one of us of the responsibilities. So what we've been doing in response to that, We've been working and we've been doing a great collaboration, strong collaboration with IP Infusion, Arcus, and all our software vendors. In addition, we've been having a great partnership with our value-added distributor in order to deliver a unified, simple experience for disaggregated solution. So we enabled a turnkey solution through our partners. And we were trying to deliver the same experience that customers were receiving from the traditional solution.
Okay, very good. I think let's get Sanjay's view on this as well.
Thanks, Kelly. So I think while we're talking about the challenges, I think it's important to acknowledge that disaggregation is ready for prime time. And that the ecosystem, just like Edgar was mentioning, has been working to solve all of the different challenges, from whether it's from a procurement perspective or from a deployment perspective. I think customers have begun to realize the benefits of disaggregation, so when it comes to faster pace of innovation, the ability for them to have more flexibility and choice, at the same time lowering the total cost of ownership. And when it comes to the challenges, really what we've heard customers say, just like Edgar was saying, is, how can you help me continue to get choice while delivering an experience that is near similar to what they used to with legacy vendors? How can you make the whole process frictionless while putting all of these different components together? How do you orchestrate and coordinate amongst all these different elements? And to that extent, I think we all of us, whether it's IP Infusion, EdgeCore, UFI Space, EPS Global, have done an incredible job of being able to manage all those pieces together. At Arcus, for example, we've taken some approaches where we've shepherded the entire process all the way from POC through deployment and offering a single point of contact for support. But for some other customers, they would prefer to have system integrators involved in that entire process and take it all the way from cradle to grave, so to speak. So I think there's an enormous opportunity, and the compute industry has figured this out. There's no reason why we can't in networking as well.
Very good, and I think it's a good opportunity to shift the focus and hear a little bit from the value-added distributor view from Alan.
Yeah, I think Edgar and Sanjay have done a really good job in describing, what I would call a perceived challenge that customers have in shifting from what they're used to and having a single vendor and a monolithic solution to, having a multi-vendor. And, we at EPS Global and other system integrators have add value by mitigating those problems. And we've been doing that now for almost a decade in the open networking space. And what we do is we help customers, first of all, to identify the appropriate solution for the problem that they're trying to solve, and then figure out what the right mix of hardware and software is for them. And we'll take it a step further then, in that we will actually procure, or many times we'd actually have the hardware in stock, pull it from our inventory, load it with software, and really configure that solution for them. And as mentioned earlier, the goal here is to maintain all the benefits of the disaggregated networking, but provide a customer experience that the customer is used to getting from the traditional vendor. Ultimately, what we find very often is what the customer initially perceives as being a challenge actually becomes the multi-vendor piece becomes one of the biggest advantages of open networking.
All right, I think it's time for an operator view. So what do you say, Lloyd?
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I think, between Edgar and Sanjay and Alan, they've really, covered or allayed some of, the fears that, as operators, it was one of the things, that spooked us. I mean, the transition, right, from, what we are traditionally used to, and, to where we're going with open and, in disaggregation. So, firstly, I think just the mindset, okay, that today we have an integrated solution. Of course, it's a multi-vendor environment because it's competitive. I mean, you can't just have a single vendor, running amok, in the network. There's a couple of things that, we wanted to fix, and then we saw, the open and, and disaggregation as the solution to that. So we had to work a little bit, around, the mindset that, look, moving from, an integrated solution towards a disaggregated, solution wasn't necessarily a complicated thing. So that was one of, the first hurdles. And then, the company is not postured to accommodate, the disaggregated solution because it's inherently different from, what we have, today. So, procurement and legal processes, were also, a hurdle, accommodating, the open and disaggregated, solution. So some work needed to be, done around that. And then there's also the apprehension around whether or not the technology can stand side by side with, existing, technology. Okay, so that had to be, I think, one of the key challenges, but also, the TCO itself on the commercial end. That once you've addressed all of this, then what about, the TCO? Does it make, any sense? Does it bring any value? So yeah, those I would say, were the main headline challenges. Just the mindset shift from what used to be to where we're going, the procurement environment, and then the technology and TCO. Yeah.
And from everything that I've heard from this panel so far, what really resonates is the need for case studies. And one of the things that we've been really focused on in IP Infusion is publishing cases of these transitions. So we've had now 375 customers who've made the transition to open networking. There have been many lessons learned along the way. In fact, we've been working with EPS Global on many of these. So why don't we start with Alan and talk a little bit about some case studies, some lessons learned, some key takeaways.
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, Kelly, we have a lot of examples of successful deployments, and I'm going to talk about 3 in particular that we have published case studies on with IP Infusion. The first one is Unity Fiber, and they're the second largest independent fiber provider in the US. Another is Metalink, and they're one of the top independent ISPs in the US. And then BTS are the largest ISP in Burkina Faso. And there were some key benefits that these customers saw when transitioning to open networking. And for Unity, the cost savings are very notable. Compared to their incumbent vendor, they were able to get a fully fledged router at 1/3 of the costs of the incumbent, and with offering 5 times the number of network interfaces. And they also saw significant energy savings. The monolithic chassis that they had in place was drawing 50 to 60 amps of DC, and the new solution that we provided reduced that drawdown to 6 to 7 amps. So, incredible drop. For Metalink, as well as the cost and energy savings, the speed of deployment was a huge benefit for them. During COVID, they saw a really significant spike. I think it was about 400% spike in the bandwidth required to service their customers. And they needed to react quickly to that spike in demand. And they looked at upgrading their network using the traditional vendor that they had, the incumbent vendor. They were told it was an 18 to 24-month lead time, so it just wouldn't work for them. They engaged with us, and with us working with IP Infusion and with EdgeCore, we were able to deploy their network in 3 months. So again, significant difference. And in Burkina Faso, the energy efficiency of the disaggregated approach really resonated with them. They deployed fanless routers and the power by solar energy sources, and they were able to put those into remote and environmentally sensitive areas. And all of these benefits and lots more are in the case studies on our website. But I think the key takeaways, for me from this is that this technology is mature. Okay, we're deploying it globally into diverse use cases, and also that there's help for you out there. If you want to try out open networking, you want to investigate it, talk to us. You're not on your own. You don't have to try and figure all this out your own. We're here to help with that.
Those are really rich case studies. Thank you. I'd like to get another technology vendor perspective on this. So Sanjay, what's your view?
Sure, thank you. Very interesting case studies. Thank you for sharing that. But at Arcus, we've been delivering disaggregation at scale. So whether it's with tier one mobile operators like SoftBank Mobile, or whether it's leading data center operators like NPCI in India, or cloud operators like CoreSite in North America, we've been helping them really deploy disaggregated solutions that allow them to deliver new services on top, monetize their network, at the same time get a much more agile network that delivers more choice and lowers the total cost of ownership in general, right? And the benefits of disaggregation. I think the key takeaways, the learnings for us through this journey have been, number one, it's given us the opportunity to sort out any kinks in the system as far as procurement is concerned, as far as contractual agreements are concerned, as far as deployment is concerned, as far as ongoing support is concerned, and the ability to pull all of these elements together. That's been one of the key learnings. What we've also found is that it's essential to have tight coordination all the way from the chipset through the ODMs that we pick with the software on it, and then have ongoing support. So that's been one key learning for us. I think the second thing that we've learned is interoperability is an extremely important part of this entire journey. So making sure that our platforms not only are interoperable with other vendors in the brownfield network, but at the same time also with the myriad of choices around cables and optics and so on and so forth. In fact, to take care of that, we have a solutions engineering team that actually will mimic the customer's network to make sure that it's well tested and validated before we actually put it into production. Another learning that we've had is make sure that we're able to help our customers with a diversity of supply by qualifying multiple ODM platforms. And then last but not least, how do you provide a single point of contact from a support perspective so that the customer has one phone number to call rather than trying to coordinate amongst the different elements. So those are some of the key learnings really that we've had in this entire journey, and I invite you all to speak with us as to how we can help.
Thank you, Sanjay. And I think one thing we should talk about when we speak about case studies, it's always fun to have news that's hot off the press. So today, even this morning, a couple hours ago, MTN and IP Infusion announced a press release together on how we're working together with network disaggregation. So of course, this begs the question. Well, I'd like to get your view when you brought the disaggregated cell site gateway through the commercial process. How did it go? Any lessons learned?
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I think it's also a demonstration of our commitment in this journey, doing all of these things together, partnering, doing the media releases. So I'm actually glad that, it's out there and that it is clear that, we are in it, for the long run. So maybe firstly, let me just acknowledge what Alan and Sanjay have said earlier. I think it's really heartwarming, Alan, that we are not alone. I think that's a very, heartwarming statement. And Sanjay, from your end, I think you touched on very key aspects of what we're grappling with, just making sure that the procurement issues are being ironed out, the contractual issues. And you touched on something that, we haven't really spoken about, the operational issues, because that's the biggest apprehension, because once, the network is laid out, then that becomes, the Achilles heel if it's not done properly. So just some experiences from, our end. I think all the way back in 2020, once, the company sort of like agreed to go down, this route, we had to do a lab test just to prove that, the concept in a very controlled environment, works. And then we progressed, I think, in 2021 to roll out commercial, POC in 3 of our African markets. I think 2 in the east and 1, in the west. And I think what we were, testing there was firstly, the ability for the open and disaggregated, equipment integrating with an existing brownfield, network, integrating into a singular network management system and the entire operational, ecosystem. And I think, it lived up to expectation. I think as we speak now, we're still running on some of those, the boxes. And we went further to introduce the open and disaggregation as a category in, transport, just so we make sure that there's a path for the OpCos to be able to procure the products and be able to deploy them in the networks, which means that we've gone a mile to address the procurement issues that were there to allow for the product to be procured in scale, and also on the contractual side as well. I mean, that whole single point of contact, or a single neck to choke, if it comes to that, really. So I think that has been the journey, Kelly. So the lab tests, the commercial lab trials, and then of course where we are now, where officially the OpCos can procure the products as we churn them out.
Yeah, that's a rich testament on overcoming challenges. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
I'd like to get another view as well from Edgar. What challenges have you discovered and how did you overcome them?
So a primary operational challenge that we've been facing is how to manage the support while having a multiple vendor. And the main concern of customers is that vendors will start blaming each other, and like they will say, no, it's a hardware or it's a software issue. But to be honest, it is not the case anymore. And as Sanjay was saying, that Arcus having now the capability to deliver end-to-end solution. The same thing we are doing with IPI. We've been creating like an IPI Pro solution where we will be enabling a single point of contact. This is already being delivered. It's in production. We have been going through like a very detailed procedure, MOUs, just to clarify and identify each vendor's responsibility. So we will be offering customers a single point of contact, single portal, single ticketing system, and in the back end, we will be all the vendors working together as well with the value-added distributor like EPS. We have a lot of successful use cases. They've been able to deliver as well on-site support, next business day, 4 hours replacement. So all this experience that customers been able to receive from traditional solution, now it's available from disaggregated model. It's already, as I mentioned, in production, and we've been receiving a lot of positive feedback, and this is one of the feedback from MTN, and we are inviting as well more customers, more telcos to join this journey.
Thank you, Edgar. I think there's a couple other challenges that we must speak about as well. Coming to mind, hardware shortages, RMAs, these are topics that come up in almost every discussion. So, Alan, what is your view?
Yeah, there's one other point I'd just like to make, Kelly, because it's apparent during the discussion that we're talking about a lot of large deployments like MTN and some of the case studies that we talked about. Open networking is not only for large deployments. We work with very small rural ISPs, so don't feel intimidated if you're a small operator. Come and talk to us and we can help. To the question then, Kelly, yeah, I mean, hardware shortages, they're actually mitigated by the fact that the software, Sanjay talked about earlier, the multiple hardware, multiple ODMs that are qualified to work with the software. So if one switch goes end of life, there are very often options to go with another manufacturer or another switch from that manufacturer. I also mentioned earlier, we talked about the Metalink, and that's a really good example where they needed a network deployed quickly. When we engaged originally, we had specified one particular edge core switch. It turned out there was not good availability for that at the time. Working with edge core, we actually found inventory in South America of another switch that was qualified. we were able to get that quickly and able to deploy Metalink's network in time. So that was a real advantage, this having multiple switches qualified. And also as a distributor, we carry inventory, we have stock on the shelf. So again, it mitigates against those shortages and allows us to deliver quickly. End of life then, we talked about it, is also mitigated by the multiple choices. And we also, we would see our role as a distributor as well, working with the manufacturers and managing end of life, getting notifications in a timely manner and delivering those to our customers so they can plan accordingly.
Yeah, it's very important, Alan. Thank you. I'm also wondering about emerging markets. So, Lloyd, let's have you speak a little bit about what can organizations in emerging markets do to overcome these challenges and ensure successful network disaggregation deployment?
Yeah, look, I think we've been sort of like talking about that in the panel so far. I think key, amongst that, coming from an emerging market, myself, is the procurement, processes, just to ensure that, they're ready to accommodate the open and disaggregated, solutions. I think that's very, very key. And then the commercial models. Shifting from just having a single hardware software vendor to splitting the hardware software and introducing the SI in there. It's very, very key. From our own perspective, we went through the commercial process, and our single point becomes the SI. And in certain cases, the software vendors where, they've got, the capability built in. But what's key from our end, and because of our large footprint, is that from a procurement, perspective, then we source, we've got the advantage of the economies of scale, so we keep, the sourcing, to our end. So the technology, I think, that is sold. If we get these elements, then I think we should have the deployment at the scale that we desire. Thank you.
Great, and we're almost out of time now, so we have just one last question. I want to know let's get first from Sanjay. What is the one key success factor you believe will encourage customers to take network disaggregation as a solution? The one key thing.
I think the maturity of the processes is going to be extremely important. I think the mindset of innovators like Lloyd and the MTN group is really important in helping unlock all of this. But it takes a village at the end of the day, and I think I thank Tip for putting all of us together, developing this rich ecosystem that can actually deliver the promise of choice and the freedom from a lock-in. So I'm quite encouraged by where things are, and invite operators to really give this a go and be confident about being able to deploy disaggregation at scale.
Okay, excellent. And Edgar, one key thing.
So my final message today, I would like to share that disaggregation and open networking is real. It is not anymore just a theory. At EdgeCore, we will continuously evolving our technology to meet the growing demands for innovative networks. And my final call is, to all the attendees, I'm inviting you to visit our booth. All contracts are ready. We've been working with all our partners. You just need to sign, and we are happy to serve you. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to thank all of my panelists, and thank you to the audience for joining us today.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you.